What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another Market Watch. Now, I apologize, I haven't put a video out for a couple of days. I have actually been very busy at work and I haven't had much time to record. But I'm going to be trying to give you some more videos and deck profiles as we get into September. So with that said, we're going to get into it. And starting off here, we're going to look at Sakuyamon. Now, the reason why I wanted to look at Sakuyamon is because this is the tamer set one, and if you do look at the price of the tamer set, it's something like I think $300 or $200, something between $200 and $300. If you're looking on TCG, if you're looking other places, you could hopefully get it for something less than that. But it's still, regardless, it's still very, very expensive. But the artwork, there's a reason for it. This artwork is really, really amazing. We see that the price here is pretty much around the $40 mark. And I think it is honestly well deserved. I always say this about the card, but specifically right now because of BT9, BT10. With BT9, this card is mainly used in, I believe, mainly two decks. One being the BWG deck as its level 6 one, or a little level 6 option, because you can really interchange your level 6s depending on what kind of build you're making. But since yellow is a little bit more stunny this format and likes to DP reduce, Sakuyamon is a good choice for their level 6s. So you can go into that and basically control their board. And then because they have to leave their card pretty much on the board for one turn, sometimes you can keep, essentially, you can make it go into the in-play area, and then you can use one of your options or one of your combos to basically delete it. The same thing can apply to security control, because this is a card that can be played with security control, basically being able to get your Magnet Angemon out, either from one of your option effects or also one of your hard playing it. And then you're able to Digivolve on top of it for 3 cost, and basically allow, again, the same thing, have your opponent bring stuff to the main raising, from the raising area into play, and then they may just leave it on the field. And the thing is, especially with security controllers, there's so many ways to be able to delete it, that, basically you're just kind of forcing them to bring it out, unless they deal with Sakuyamon first. So we see it being at 40, and I think it's well deserved here. I personally would maybe wait a little bit, but I doubt this is going to go down from this price, because in BT10 we do get main mode, which is a Digivolve form of Sakuyamon. You basically Digivolve on top of Sakuyamon for 2. You can play an option, I believe, or a plug-in or option of 5 cost or less. And then when you do, you can place it on top of your security stack. So it is actually a really, really good combo. And this is a really amazing art. I do wish I had bought this when the Tamer set did come out, but unfortunately that was way, way past my time. Going into the next one over here is Koromon. Now, if you don't know, we had blackwargreymon support that was just recently announced, which is really, really good. And right now, blackwargreymon and Gaiomon decks are really making an impact, and as we can see here, it is down to about $80. It has been around the $100 mark for quite a while. If you are looking to get your playset, or at least a copy of this card, it might be the time now to get it. So definitely consider picking that up while you can. This is a really great artwork with, I don't know what these things are called, the black, like, automatic Digi-Egg or Digimon that comes out of it. Then you have the Digi-Egg or Digitama, and then you have the champion level here. Where's Agumon? But anyway, yeah, this is a really, really good card to be played. Some people are electing this format to play the Koromon that gives 1,000 to your Greymon, but this is also a really good draw engine for a lot of different cards, especially with future support announced. Now, I did want to go over some of the cards from the Battle of Omni set over here just real quick. And as we look over here, one of the reasons I kind of wanted to bring this out is because of the Nightmon over here. And as we can see here, it is pretty cheap for the participant, but if you're looking for the winners pack or the finalist pack over here, it is about $12 over here. And I don't know if, I think it's on the first page over here. Where is it? Yeah, here. You can't even get the Regional Online Champion one over here. It is a blurred out version. I'm not sure why exactly. But basically, with BT10 on the way, Nightmon is one of the cards that you can actually use for Digicross, I believe. Possibly now or in the future. And basically, Nightmon will might see some more play, especially if future sets give Lord Nightmon X or an X antibody option type of card out of that. So that's something to keep an eye on. Marcus, I wanted to really just briefly talk about. I'm going to refresh this because it's like a day old. I actually left this open for a day. But as we can see here, Marcus is seeing a little bit of play, and you may actually see it went down slightly bit over here, but yeah, Marcus is a good card because for any Digimon with Greymon's name, you can attack and gain a memory, and gaining memory in this format is really good. Although right now sometimes Gaimon doesn't necessarily need it because you're kind of going to blitz and just be able to swing into your opponent anyway. But I think Marcus is a good pickup right now, and it's cheap. It's $3.35, a little bit more or four. We have about 51 listings, so there's not a short supply of it. This is the box topper from Great Legend, and a lot of people are not opening Great Legend anymore, so you may want to get this up. There is also the rare version that you can pick up if you're not wanting to get the full art. But Marcus is actually one of my personal favorite characters. I'm not a huge fan of Data Squad, but I do think that he was a pretty cool form of digivolving. Now going over our store championship packs over here, we see scatter mode for $40, and I honestly think that this is pretty well deserved because there are only a certain amount of store championship cards out there to each store, and we only have this until essentially the end of 2022, and then it's going to be very hard to get. And scatter mode is a very, very good card in purple, just being able to swing and on deletion draw 3, discard 2. As a level 4, I think that I'm sure we'll get future support that will make this card a little less, more power crept to this card. But I always think that this card is going to be really, really good just to be able to draw 3 regardless. You could even splash this technically in other decks if you ever wanted to be able to gain more of a draw engine. But we see over here it is fallen down from its initial price, which is fine, to about the $40 mark. And I think this is pretty acceptable over here for $40 for a full art foil version of this card, especially when it's played at 4. If you're trying to get your playset, obviously you need to get 4 of these. So I think it's pretty well deserved to be $40. Another card out of that same set is the Durulomon, and I actually wanted to compare this, the $50 one, to the $16, $17 one over here. This is just a participant in the regionals. You get this only if you do play in a regional event. And if you're a finalist, you get this version over here, which is $50. And honestly, a lot of people I think elect more to get one of these, especially you're going to see more listings up there. And I think for the fact that you play 4 of these in the deck is pretty good. Now, BWG did get hit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the deck will not be played in the future if you are an X-Antibody fan, or if we get future support in another set. This card may still see a lot of play, and having a hollow version of this, or at least 1 or 2 copies of it, might be a good pick. So as we can see here, it is pretty low, being at the $17 mark, and it is pretty stable at the $17 mark for 32 listings. So I would consider picking these up now if you are a fan of Alphamon and the archetype. And I do personally, between this and the different types of winners packs, things like that, I do think that the scatter mode is a nicer art than this, but this one all the same is really, really good. Another card to consider picking up, and I'm actually going to refresh this because we did get some recent support for Lucemon, or not even Lucemon, for Mastamon, but we're going to take a look here if there was any change. A slight increase, but nothing significant. But going into BT10, we are going to be basically back to a tamer focused format because there are a lot of Digicross kind of effects, and Shopmon is going to be a tier 1 deck. And if you're playing anything like a control deck or a Mastamon deck or anything like that, Lucemon Chaos Mode might be something you want to consider picking up. I think it's a really good card. The artwork's really good, and I know that there is a Lucemon X. So in the future, there might be a reason to have multiple copies of this. So if you're not opening up next adventure, which not a lot of people are, because just the value is pretty dead right now with it, this might still be a good card to hold on to or get. And if we look at next adventure, just to see the comparison of what you could get, these are just the finalist cards. But you have the Doromon over here, alternate art, still really nice alternate art. You have the Lucemon here, and the other Lucemon only $10 less. This one did definitely go up. I know it was around the $30 mark last time I checked it, so it is going for about $10 more right now. And I think it's because we are going to be in a format that does have a lot of popping opponents. Tamers and Digimon and stuff like that. Also because Mastamon did get just recently a few extra pieces of support. So we'll see how that goes. And this is a 7 Demon Lords. It's a Demon Lord card, so future support will always support those kind of things. Dark Nightmon, another card I wanted to quickly talk about. Just going to refresh the page here, just see if anything changed. But yeah, we see we're going for about $30, almost there. $27, $28 over here, and the reason for it is because we do get some Dark Nightmon support in the next set, and this art actually is one of my favorite arts out of the entire set. I wasn't a huge fan of Next Adventure personally, or like even like the Frontier in general, but Dark Nightmon is a card that you see in Digimon, the new reboot Digimon, as well as Cross, and we get future support in the set in BT10 for Dark Nightmon, and this card is still played in that. So this might be something you want to consider picking up, just because for the alt art, it is a really, really nice alt art, and a lot of people who like the black archetype or the black color and stuff like that may want to consider picking this up as well. Now, another card I just really wanted to briefly touch on was Magna Garurumon. Blue Hybrid definitely is not dead. I've seen people play with it, and people still win with it. Not as frequently, and definitely it's been power crept with Tommy only going to 1. But Magna Garurumon is kind of how people are starting to look at this deck, because they are looking to just bounce the opponent's stuff rather than focus on stunning, and Magna Garurumon definitely does that. So they kind of just decided to go that route. And so and playing Koji, so that might be something you want to consider picking up. It's pretty cheap right now for $8.50, and I think it's going to keep going up at least to maybe the $15 mark by the time we get to BT10, if people are deciding not to play them now, or sorry, people are deciding to play it. Sistermons, going to go over both of them together. So Double Diamond is about a $100 box now, and it may be better to buy these cards by themselves, because Sistermons will be played, or Jesmon will be played in the upcoming set with Jesmon GX and Jesmon X Antibody and the Jesmon Starter X coming out. They're not played as much, so you may only need 1 or 2 copies of these cards, but yeah, it's a really, really good play style. I'm really excited. I actually never thought I would be interested in playing Jesmon, just because it's not the type of playstyle I like, but this might actually change my mind. Just because it looks like a lot of fun, and I really do like these artworks of the cards. Unfortunately, I never pulled them myself, but as you can see, the price here is about $33 and $30 respectively, and they've been constantly going up over the last few months. If you could have gotten them pretty cheap for about $20 for the Blanc, and I think Sistermon Seal was probably even lower than that. So like if I go 3 months back and look at its lowest point, it was about $18. So it has had a little bit of a buff, and there are a pretty decent amount of listings, 16 over here for the Seal, and we have 9 listings for the Blanc. So the Blanc is a little bit harder to get, but yeah, or you can chance your luck and just try to pull some free some stuff from Double Diamond. But you're gambling at that point. You might as well just pick up 1 or 2 copies of Sistermon Blanc and Seal, just to seal the deal. Sorry, no pun. I wanted to also take a quick look here, and just kind of, this is like kind of furthering my point. Even though this is the set that the Omnimon alternate art is in, you're having a chance of pulling it is like 1, I think, out of like 5 cases or something like that. I don't remember the ratio, but it was something that was really, really hard to get. And then the only other card that's kind of leading the set is the Beelstar on alternate art over here for $75. So you don't even really make up back the value of the box if you pull the Beelstar. You would have to pull something like Beelstar and Intmon or something like that, or Beelstar and Sistermon, to at least make the value of the box back. Everything else, if you look from Beelstar down, is pretty cheap. You get to like the $10 marks for the Agumon and Gabumon as support, and the alternate arts over here, and even Alphamon over here being at $6 is kind of crazy. Even the Alphamon Secret Rare over here, even though it's a really, really nice artwork, is about $23. So the only value you can really get right now in the set is pretty much the Impmon, because it is a fan favorite and is really one of the best artworks in here, as well as the Sistermon cards. Now going into our last couple of cards, I did want to talk about this. So if you don't know, we got some really good black blackwargreymon support that's going to announce for BT11. So we do have a few sets. We're probably going to get this in February. But basically, blackwargreymon gets another level of protection and an X antibody form, and its Metal Greymon form is really, really good. It kind of has that same kind of effect that Dual Greymon had, where it protects it, I think, from being, if I'm not mistaken, de-digivolved and DP reduced. And then there is another Greymon that when you can digivolve on top of another Greymon, its inherited effect is basically like you cannot be bounced. If you have an X antibody, the option card underneath it, you can bounce. If it were to be bounced or were to be deleted, you can send the X antibodies to the bottom of your deck to avoid that deletion. So it kind of gives you a good reason to have it. And then it has another effect of if it would digivolve into its ultimate form, Metal Greymon, you can reduce the cost by 1 for every color that Digimon has. So usually you'd have a 2-color Digimon digivolving for only 2 costs instead of 4. And then you go into your bigger guys after that. But basically that's like a very, very good effect of the Metal Greymon. And then the blackwargreymon has some really good effects too. That was introduced to blackwargreymon X. But blackwargreymon over here is seeing an increase in price. When that was announced, and I think it was announced in the beginning, mid-August over here, we saw it was like $28, $29. And then once that was announced, which I think was like right around, I'm seeing where the price drop was like right over here. So pretty much at the end of August, that support was announced, and then we are seeing it being sold for about $50. There are 20 listings over here. It is going up, and it wasn't necessarily a buyout. I think that people just really do think that this card is going to see future play, and it does see play in BT10 and of course BT11 because that support will come out at that time. Even right now though, it is topping a lot of events, so some people might be looking to pick that up. Gammamon, another card I wanted to really quickly touch on. We have 16 listings over here, and Gammamon does get additional support in BT10. I think it's called Kano Wisemon, that you can digivolve into its like ultimate form, and then you can place like it gains all the effects of all the Gammamons underneath it. So like this one is your turn once per turn. When you play a red tamer, draw 1 card. So basically that effect will be also under your Kano Wisemon. It also will get the inherited, of course, just as a regular inherited, but it also gets everything else underneath it. And then they do have an option card that I think puts it in a Gammamon underneath it, so it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that the playstyle, I might want to test it out because Gammamon is a pretty cool Digimon. I do like it out of like all the new characters over here, so just wanted to show that. And if we can see over here, it's 16 listings for about $16, going consistently down, so there's no shortage of it either. So definitely pick this up, especially if you're not going to crack any more BT8, but it might be worth it now just because blackwargreymon also is in that set as well, and you can kind of get your value back just by basically picking up 1 box of it and hopefully getting your blackwargreymon. Keep in mind though, just to make a point, if you do look at the set as a whole, the only big cards you can now pull out of it is really just the Magnamon and the blackwargreymon. The secrets were terrible in this set. Honestly, I think let's see where our Creepamon, Creepamon here being for $11, and there's 47 listings, and then the Paladin mode also being for like $9. It's not a hugely open set right now. If you don't have the alternate arts, like you should try to get the alternate arts. I think from this set, they're really nice, and we're going to get into a few more cards out of the set. And then essentially that's going to be it for today. So the other one I wanted to talk about was the blackwargreymon over here. So the super rare version, if you don't want to spend $50 per copy, you can spend $13 per copy. And I would definitely consider getting these before getting your, if you don't know what you want to play. So like blackwargreymon over here being at 52 and being the super rare, just being like a $13 card. This was $8 a few weeks ago and now it's 13, so it is constantly going up. I would definitely pick these, or if you're not going to play the deck at all in the next couple of formats, definitely just sell them now. Another one out of here was also Chimeramon. $10 I think is pretty good for a super rare that sees a lot of competitive play, and I think it's going to see a lot of competitive play moving forward because Jessmon decks will be playing this card as well, so that might be something to consider. Lastly, I did want to talk about really quickly the value of BT9 X record. As we can see over here, the set is pretty much being carried by Death Xmon, being for $75 as the alternate art and $65 essentially for its regular art. The price of the box I actually saw did go down a little bit. It was going for about $90, and now it's back to 33. So I think it's kind of cooled down a little bit. And really, the value is it's interesting because it's really that card that's your like winning card out of this. Everything else kind of just dropped, because the other card was the Alphamon, or you can art. Now it's only like $27. Gaiamon, of course, because of the BlackwargGreymon support, did kind of increase the price to about $30. Same with the Agumon X. I think it increased a little bit because of the new support. And then WarGreymon X is just, it's also a really good card too. Just being able to do stuff with it, like Digivolve and swing at your opponent and do multiple checks to their security, because you're having the inherited underneath it, but getting a memory when you're swinging if you digivolved on top of a WarGreymon or have an X antibody option here. But if you look down further down here, you see like there's only like $20 and below. I'm actually kind of annoyed because I traded some really good cards for like Magnamon X antibody, thinking I was gonna get multiple copies of it, and yeah, that was definitely a loss on my end. And it's just, I hate, like, honestly, the one thing I really don't like about some of these sets is that some of the secret rares just drop so bad in here, like this Or even though it is, like, we don't technically have an end date with the Dual Greymon yet. We know that it's going to be a hit, we just don't know when it's going to be a hit. Probably when we get to our EX3, I think at the end of the year is when we're going to get that added to the list. But what do you guys think? Do you think the X record is still a good investment? Do you think you should just get your Death X and that's it? You let me know, which set are you like most interested for? Like, would you go back and would you like try to gamble and hopefully pull your get Double Diamond, see if you can pull some Sister Mons or something like that, or would you rather just buy the singles and get your your play sets for pretty much the price of like a box if you got like two or three of them? Let me know. I think I just gave you the answer here, but hope that this helped. I hope that everyone's having a great time and enjoying the start of our fall season. Take care.